The next morning, it was still raining, but the engines were still lost in their thoughts. The atmosphere was changing, and they were all very nervous of commencing work. The subject of 311 was spreading down the line, but no one believed it, and neither did some of the other engines. No one could decide to believe this or not. As the old saying goes, things aren't always as they seem. Like the engines of Sodor, humans live in a world where the real and the unreal live side by side, where substance is disguised as illusions, and the only explanations are unexplainable. It seems that the dark tale of 311 had become a dark part of it. But since the subterraneans of Sodor had not heard of the story, most thought it was fiction, while others were lost in their thoughts to make up their minds about it being real. The question is asked time and time again, can the truth be separated from fantasy? To do so, they must break through the web of their experience and open their mind into things beyond belief. At Knapford Harbor, Luke was waiting with his passengers for his train, the Unlimited, another special express train on Sodor. It is a unique first time for him to haul a British train when he was more used to handling American ones in the States. 10 minutes later, Thomas arrived with the Unlimited and shunted it behind Luke. As he was waiting for his passengers to board, Thomas ran around to talk to him. Just then, Jason came running in after his late night run, feeling very nervous and shaken up. Thomas felt his frames and his wheels shake a little. As the weeks went by, the subject of 311 seemed to have been forgotten, until one misty night, Gordon was pulling the late night express. He rushed past Edward Station and onto the long stretch of line where a bridge was in the distance. As the big blue engine got closer to it, he suddenly saw something directly ahead. A bright shining light that almost blinded him. The crew had become skeptical and told the guard, who had just ran up asking why the train had stopped. Gordon told him what happened, and he too became skeptical on the situation. The crew looked around, but found nothing. The passengers were becoming impatient, but when the guard told them the situation, they were all silent. The crew looked at each other and decided to report the matter to the police. Gordon, who was still shaken up and puffed away, it was on the move again. But as he did, he felt this strange feeling in his boiler that he was being watched from behind. He later arrived at Tidman's sheds and told the other engines what he had seen, but they were skeptical. Over on the Little Western, Oliver was delivering his last train of the day. He was well ahead of schedule, having left the top station 20 minutes early. He soon reached Tidman's halt and dropped off his passengers. Just then, it started raining, followed by the mist rolling in with the air growing colder. But then he heard a ringing of a bell and a deep-toned whistle that sounded American, which made Isabel and Dulcie panic in fright. Duck, meanwhile, was waiting at Tidman Station with Alice and Maribel. He was picking up the last load of his passengers for the night. The next day, at Knapford Station, Oliver and Gordon were still shaken up by last night's events. Ariel, David, and Louise, who had been very regretful since telling them about the ghost engine, saw their experiences of fear. The three American engines were confused. Over at the Royal Central Terminal, north of Vickerstown, before Barrow, Emily was talking with James about Gordon's experience last night. The red engine was amazed, but soon dismissed the thought, although it briefly reminded him about his one incident back when he encountered with the ghost of the engine 260. Both engines looked ahead as Flying Scotsman pulled away with his special train. News of Gordon and Oliver's encounters spread down the line, But once again, no one believed it, and it soon became a great joke to Henry. Henry just dismissed the thought and went in to collect the flying kipper from Tithmouth Harbor. It was dark by the time the ship arrived to drop off its load. The men hustled in, loading the van with crates of fish. The last door banged, the guard showed his green lamp, and the flying kipper was ready to leave.